If you could go back in your life and change a day or an event that affected you from then to now, would you? And what would that event be? I know exactly what day I would go to. Exactly. I would go to August 3rd, 1995. 30 years ago today would be the day I would choose, because that is a day that had just the most impact in a negative way on my life these past 30 years. And not only just my life, but Chris and my kids' lives. That day was the day that I was prescribed Xanax and started it. All through a phone call from a doctor. Within a matter of minutes, a decision was made that changed my life, changed all of our lives, not for the better. Dangerously so. I remember that day exactly. I remember where I was sitting, what room I was in, what couch I was sitting on, everything when the phone call came through. I had been on, I was on a medicine called Parladel to dry up my breast milk because I had weaned my third baby at 23 months. And I was put on this medicine that they don't use nowadays because of adverse reactions to it. And instead of, when the doctor called me, instead of her saying, just stop that medicine and allow my body to settle back down, I was put on Xanax, told to take the Xanax, because the symptoms were, the adverse symptoms were anxiety and heart palpitations. But there was a cause, there was a root cause. But I wasn't thinking at the time to always know there is a root cause of things. So you got to get to the root cause. But I wasn't in that mindset of thinking back then. I just wanted to, the doctor was just saying, we'll start the Xanax and that will treat the anxiety and the heart palpitations. And then stay on it because it's great for PMS, she said. So 30 years ago today, I remember the day because it was the day that O.J. Simpson's murder verdict, his trial for murder, 2 murders, was being broadcasted. The verdict was coming in that day. And I had a friend over and a sister over, and we were watching about the verdict, waiting for the verdict to come through when the phone call came through. So that's why I remember this day so much, about that, and what room I was in, and the details when the phone rang and everything. So in a way I say, he got his freedom and I started a life of losing my freedom on the same day and everything. I can laugh over it now because, I mean, you have to laugh over it. What can I do? What can I do besides just say it was craziness, insanity, and everything. So, but not only did the benzos affect my life, that phone call changed my life, changed my husband, my kids who were 2, 4, and 6 at the time, changed their lives and everything. It also affected us, my health, mentally and physically. It also, within just a few matter of months, I was seeking out more doctors and everything because I was having symptoms. And so I was seeing an internist for symptoms. I was seeing a rheumatologist for symptoms. I was being put on other medicines. I was being tested for um, autoimmune diseases and MS and different diseases, and everything was coming back negative and all, but nobody was looking root cause. When did all this start? Nobody was in that thought process and everything. So finally, about 11 months of me being on it, I went to the internist and was so sick. He told Chris and I to stop all medicines, cold turkey, all medicines. Well, within 3 days, I was back to his office, and I was I was in withdrawal. I was in definite withdrawal, and he walked out of the examination room and sent his office manager in, and she asked us to leave. And so here today, 30 years later, I still don't know why. We were not told why. Even with a phone call later, even with my sister even trying to call, we were never told why. What was that decision? And so that was really hard emotionally also. Like I was doing something wrong when it was being prescribed to me and everything. So, and all, and that was being blackballed from a large medical group in my area. So we then had turned to a chiropractor, and he found an MD that reinstated me. And but in the meantime of getting stabilized back out, because you always have to go higher, I wasn't able to take care of myself or the 3 kids, and so Chris would have to take me over to one of my sister's houses, and her babysitter that was there taking care of her 2 children then was taking care of our 3 kids, and I would just be in bed all day at her house, at my sister's house, waiting for Chris to come back and pick us up and everything. And so he had to work, and so that took a while to get established and settled again. We also then had to hire somebody that helped me take care of the kids at our house and pick up our oldest child, who was in kindergarten. So financially, it was starting to affect us also. And you know, when we had kids, before we had kids, I had my cosmetology license, and I have a shampoo bowl still at this house and a hydraulic chair at this house. And so we had always planned, but prior to having the kids, I was on the road traveling, and I was a Nexus rep and a platform artist. And so then when we decided to get married and have kids, I quit that and all, and so we thought I would work as a hairdresser around the kids' schedule and all. And so going on the Xanax, that took that away. I wasn't able to. I was too sick to work at a career. And so here at my age, I should be retiring and collecting Social Security. I never got a chance to have my career. I was sick for over 16 years of being on the Xanax and then the recovery. So my years of career time got taken from me. So being on the medicine not only affected me physically, emotionally, mentally, but also financially. And so I say there's not a part of my life that wasn't affected by that medicine. Even spiritually. I wasn't able to go to church for years. For years I wasn't able to. So I lost my faith community and all. This was before, online services. And, I was too sick to even hold on and communicate with people and go out or have them come over and things like that. So, I lost friendships and all. But spiritually even, I was so sick and so ill mentally, I didn't feel worthy that I should even be into a church. When my boys were in Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, their meetings were at church, and they would have ceremonies at time that I didn't feel that I should even be at the ceremony, that I wasn't worthy of going into a church and all. The medicine just messed with me, messed with my mind, my thoughts. And I didn't understand. I kept thinking, is God punishing me? Have I done something that was so bad? No, he wasn't punishing me. Not at all. He was there. He was there saving me. My thoughts at times were so dark and so bad. It's a wonder that I am here on this earth still. It's a wonder I didn't take my own life. For years, I thought those thoughts, especially after I cold turkeyed. If I hadn't had my faith, when you're at rock bottom, when you realize there is no one on this earth that can help you, no matter how much my family tried and wanted to, and they were there for me, but my body and mind were so sick that right there, my faith, God surrounded me with his glowing white light and saved me. And he protected my kids during their years of growing up, their latter part of their elementary years and their middle school years and their high school years. Friends would invite them to church, and so they were able to go to youth groups and all, and it was a safe haven, and it got them away from home where they just saw a sick mom and didn't understand why and what was going on. But people would invite them, and they would go. The benzos affected me from being able to be part of my parents. My father passed away in 2001. He had had a stroke in 1985 and survived for nearly 17 years and all. But it got where I wasn't able to help take care of him. And then Mom lived 10 years after Daddy passed. And I was too sick to even travel into Huntington, just 20 minutes, and help take care of her. I didn't see her for her last year and a half. Benzos took away me attending her funeral. So I don't know any part of our lives that weren't affected by this medication. All decided from a phone call. A phone call. And then when we were turning for help, I wasn't getting it from the medical community. Yes, the pharmacist said that he knew what my problem was. It was the benzos, and that I needed to get off of them, and that I could just stop taking them. Well, I'd been on them almost 16 years. And just to stop taking a baby dose? And so he did tell me to ask my MD. And so I did ask her. And she said she agreed with him. And she was a substance specialist. Later, she admitted to me, both of them told me I'd be better in a week. A week. So I thought, okay, I cold turkeyed the first time and survived 3 days. Well, if I can do this and be better in a week, yes, I'll do it. No. it sent me into protracted withdrawal. And every time we would reach out to the doctor, she would tell us, don't go to the ER. Do not go to the ER. They'll give you a shot of the benzodiazepine. And so here we were at home, and me in a severe state of jerking and horrible. And reaching out to the MD, and she's saying, do not go to the ER. Do not. In fact, later she told me that, she had never seen somebody cold turkey before. She had only seen patients come off of benzos in a 3 to 4 day hospital setting, but she didn't know what happened to them after that, after they left the hospital, because she never saw them again. And she also told me it wouldn't hurt me to take a Xanax here or there. Here or there. I backed out of her office like she was Satan. Never saw her again. So benzos affected our lives in ways that every way, every aspect of our life is being affected. And so here, now, I should be retiring and collecting Social Security. But I say, I have retired. I have retired from being sick. For years that I should have been working, I was sick. So now, yes, I have retired from being sick. Financially, it hasn't been beneficial, no, but I'm not complaining. I am totally not complaining because I am not sick like I used to be. No. No. And also, but, this morning I was walking around in the yard and I was praying and I was just thinking, 30 years. Whew, how did we get here? Or more, how did we survive? I know how we survived. We weren't alone. We weren't alone. Without my faith, without God surrounding us with his glowing white light, protecting us, we wouldn't have survived. And I made a covenant with him August 30th, 2011, the day that I was told to cold turkey, that if he would bring me through, I would share my story so that hopefully no one else ever has to go through what we went through. And so now, today, 30 years from the day I took my first Xanax, I'm sharing my story again. And I will continue to. Because not only was it a horrific story, journey, but it's a glorious one. It's a triumphant one. I am an overcomer. I healed. I healed. And that's what I want to get out there to anybody else that is on this medicine that is not supposed to be long-term. It is supposed to be short-term. Within 3 weeks, your neurotransmitters become dependent on it. It is not supposed to be a long-term prescription. It is not supposed to. But that's usually how it is prescribed. And I want to always spread the word. You do not cold turkey off of the benzodiazepine. I believe that today the medical schools are teaching, at least I hope so, that they're teaching about the benzodiazepines. I know my kids, when they were in med school, within the first week, Within the first 3 days, we're taught about benzodiazepines, and you do not cold turkey off of them. But yet I was, from the suggestion of the pharmacist and the suggestion of the MD. But I think that information is getting out there nowadays. And I want to say, be your best advocate. There wasn't the research available 30 years ago or 13 years ago. But now there's so much information out there. Online, there's so much information about the benzos, about tapering off of them, support groups, documentaries, all kinds. Thankfully, when I was going through my cold turkey, my mister got on the internet, and a couple of my sisters got on and did research, and we discovered the benzo forms, and that's where we did a lot of our learning, and I got my support, because at times what the kids saw me going through was too horrific for them, too horrific. And Chris didn't know what to say. My mister, he just didn't know what to say, except for sometimes he would say, you need to get on benzo buddies. And he was right. I had wonderful support from my family. And I had wonderful support from some dear, dear friends that were also going through recovery. I met them on the forums. They understood me, and I understood them, where most of society couldn't understand us, and the medical community didn't understand us. And I had God. And so what I want to say is, what started 30 years ago, I'll never get back. Never. But I didn't lose it all. I'm still here. I'm healthy. My family's still intact together. I'm one very fortunate person. Very fortunate. I'm very grateful. I don't take my days for granted. I hope I never take life for granted. I don't think I will. Even the smallest thing in life is big to me. I don't think I'll ever, the way I look at life and the gift of my health, it's fragile. Life is fragile. But I'm an overcomer. And I feel like what we went through has made us all stronger. We're all strong individuals. So be your best advocate. Do research on medicines that are prescribed to you, medications that affect the neurotransmitters. There's so much information out there. Be your best advocate if you are on medicines of how to properly taper off. Because I don't believe that med schools teach the proper way of tapering. Tapering is done too fast. But there's doctors out there online, like the Taper Clinic from Dr. Yosef. He talks about how to taper slow, slow, slow. And that's what I had to do, just like with, today, maybe my 30th year of starting Xanax. It's my 6th month of being free from gabapentin. All the days of the year, these fit together. And so, yes, It took me 4 years of slow, small water titration tapering off of gabapentin, but then I was able to step off without symptoms. And each month, my body is getting better and better and better. My neurological system is getting stronger and calmer. Yeah. Once in a while, I'll take an allergy pill. I've had allergies all my life. Once in a while, I'll take an allergy pill. And I use my hormone creams. And that's it. That's it. And it's like crazy. Because there's been so many years of it the other way. And it all started October 3rd, 1995. I was a compliant patient. I trusted too much in what a doctor would say. I had to learn the hard way. But I learned. And I healed. It took me years, but I did heal. So if you're going through this, you will heal. I'm still believing on Benzo Buddies. That was my name. Still believing. You will heal. I believe in healing for everyone. It takes time. Don't give up. Don't give up. And reach out if you have those dark thoughts. I've lost friends. I've lost several friends from the benzo community because the recovery was too harsh for them. I was fortunate. I was able to reach out and people were there for me. They became there physically for me. They were there in a second, 24/7. Those weren't my thoughts. Those were the thoughts of a sick person. All from a chemical that should have never been in my body. I'll never get those 30 years back. But I am so grateful for what I have now, where we are now. And I do know was there all along, and will continue to be. Healing does happen. I'm definite proof of that. Praise God.